世界のみんなとつながろう Bridges across world communities.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bridges Across World Communities, sponsored by NIA, the Nishinomiya City International Association. My name is Thelma.
And I'm Floyd. Each month we provide practical knowledge for daily living and important information about disaster prevention.
This program is for English-speaking residents in the Nishinomiya area and is broadcast on the second Saturday of each month from 12 noon to 12:15.
Today we'll talk about the new Japanese banknotes introduced earlier this month.
Our disaster prevention tip is about the dangers of Senjo, ko-sui-tai.
What the hell is that?
Linear rain bonds.
Okay. Oh. And our guest is Michael Phelps, originally from Canada, now living in Nishinomiya.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会です。
Hello, Thelma, and welcome to July, official start of the Mushi Mushi Atsui season in Japan. Mo kanawana.
Yeah, I hate it too, Floyd. So let's not talk about the weather, but jump right into this month's topic.
Yeah, good idea. Now, as most people know by now, Japan's newly minted banknotes went into general circulation earlier this month on July 3rd.
That's right. And there are three new bills, that 10,000 and 5,000 and 1,000 yen notes.
Probably the most obvious updates are the new portraits gracing the front of each bill.
Yes, the new 10,000 yen bill features Ichi Shibusawa, an industrialist widely known as the father of the modern Japanese economy.
And the new 5,000 yen bill features Umeko Tsuda, a highly respected educator, university founder, and the first Japanese woman to study in America as a foreign student.
And the new 1,000 yen note features Kitasato Shibasaburo, a physician, bacteriologist, and who co-developed the first treatment for tetanus.
Now, the last time Japanese bills were redesigned was in 2004. That's 20 years ago. Now, reasons for this redesign were to strengthen anti-counterfeiting measures and to make the bills easier to read and identify through the introduction of universal design principles.
Yeah, there's also some cool new technology being used to ensure that fake bills can't be created. Now, for example, viewing the bill from different angles creates a 3D rotating effect of the portrait in a reflective hologram window. Now, these are the first bills in the world to use this technology.
I've seen holograms on bills from other countries for decades now.
Well, that's true, but these Japanese bills are using a newer, more advanced technology, Floyd.
Okay. Now, besides the larger, easier-to-read numbers, another new universal design feature is the 11 identifying marks on the edge of every bill, located in a different location for each denomination. These marks are printed using raised ink, so people with visual disabilities can identify the bills simply by touch.
Wow. So can we use these new banknotes everywhere?
That's a really good question. According to the Ministry of Finance, when the new bills are introduced, you'll be able to use them at 90% of the ATMs at finance institutions, and at around 80 to 90% of the machines in train stations, major convenience stores, and supermarkets.
Wow, that's very impressive.
But now the thing is here, only about 50% of machines used for car and bicycle parking or in ticket-based restaurants will be able to use them, and only about 30% of common vending machines will accept them.
Oh, so it will be some time before the new bills can be used everywhere, and we'll have to be careful, right?
Yeah, that's right. In fact, our producer can confirm that the new 500 yen coin introduced in 2021 still isn't accepted by bicycle parking machines at Hanshin Nishinomiya Station or the drink vending machines near her home. So it can take a while.
Yeah, but at many small businesses like your local ramen shop, it can cost millions of yen to update or replace machines to accept the new currency. So, as a workaround, some shops will exchange the new bills for old ones, where customers can use the current machines to place their order.
Yeah, it's becoming a big issue, and many people feel that small business owners should be given more adequate subsidies to help them purchase new machines, rather than being forced to bear such a large cost on their own.
Yeah, and then how much longer will be able to use the old bills?
Well, back in 2004, when they last replaced the currency, it took well over a year for only 60% of the bills in circulation to be switched over. They're expecting the pace to be about the same this time as well.
Okay, so there's no need to rush out, right? And
No.
switch over the new bills.
Yeah, that's right. Now, in fact, they're expected to print about 7.5 billion new bills by the end of March 2025. So it'll take a while for them to get out there.
Wow. By the way, there's a fraud scheme that often occurs at times like this. Now, official-looking
that?
people might approach you saying something like, the old bills can't be used anymore, so we'll collect them for you, and everyone should watch out for that.
Yeah, that's good advice. Now, also, it's kind of ironic, but this transition to a new currency might actually speed up the pace of switching to cashless payment systems. Some are even speculating that after 140 years of the Bank of Japan minting currency, that's since 1885, this may be the last time that a new currency will go into wide circulation.
Maybe these new banknotes will become valuable collector's items one day.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, they're pretty valuable right now, and I'll continue trying to collect as many of them as possible.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, thanks. I'll need it.
7.7 Sakura FM.
And we'd like to welcome this month's guest, Michael Phelps.
Hey, thanks for having me, Floyd. And Delma, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Now, I have to be honest with you. You've been invited to the show because we thought you were the Michael Phelps that won all those Olympic gold medals for swimming.
I can
Who are
swim.
you?
No, he's a kind of replica of Tom Cruise.
Well,
Dame Cruz.
okay, so that was a fun way to start. But anyway, welcome to the show. Seriously. Now, let's start with what we usually start with. Why are you in Japan?
It's all about a girl.
Ah.
See about a girl. That's from Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, okay. So instead of going to the West Coast, you came all the way to Japan.
Yeah, real east.
So where did you meet?
In Toronto in 1999.
Wow. So how long have you been in Japan?
18 years. 2006 we moved over.
Wow.
And maybe I could just tell that one because I asked Haruko to marry me and she said no. And I said, why? And she goes, I want my family around me when I get married.
So when did you ask to marry her?
Well, after we opened a restaurant and it was starting to go well, and
This was in Toronto.
In Toronto, and I thought, well, if we have a baby, at least it'll eat, right? Then the opposite happened. She said, I want my family around me when I have a baby and a family, so would you like to move to Japan? And now it was my turn to say no, because I had no intention of moving to Japan. But honestly, Floyd, it was the best decision I've ever made.
Wow. So when she asked you that, did she actually say, do you want to move to Japan, or did she say, do you want to get married?
Well, I think it was, intention was that if you move to Japan, I'll marry you.
But so you said yes, obviously. Or?
I said no. The restaurant was going great, but then, like I said,
So how long did it take after that before you actually moved?
2 years.
Huh.
See, I'd have to pack it, the restaurant, got to sell that business we'd invested in, and wrap all my life in Canada
Wow.
up. And yeah, sayonara.
It's hard to leave a successful business like that. So who was this restaurant? Who was the main chef in the restaurant?
Me.
You were?
Wow.
Yeah, I think Haruko had a job getting placements for young Japanese kids at Canadian homestay, and she would slip them my omeshi, my card, say if you need a part-time job. So it was fantastic because I had all these great young Japanese people from Sapporo and from Kyushu and Tokyo and Kansai. So when I did move to Japan, it was nice to have, it's pretty isolating, but I had some friends already, former staff.
So had your wife, I don't want to focus on your wife, but had she been in North America for quite a while before
Yes.
she moved back?
Yes, she was there for a good 20 years.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's very similar to my wife. She came back almost as a foreigner, my wife. I don't know how your wife feels.
I think I mentioned that when we came back, I had culture shock, but surprisingly, Haruko had what they called counterculture shock. It's when you come back to your own, I would get a call from her, wow, Michael, it's so polite here. So what are you talking about? They tell you to mind the gap on the subway. I say, well, they do that in Toronto, but they do it here so much.
It's funny. I always found that as a foreigner living here, not being caught up in the schedule, Japanese schedule, when to take holidays and all that, you feel like you have an awful lot of freedom compared to maybe the day-to-day Japanese salaryman jobs and having to take holidays with everybody else. So are you experiencing anything like that?
Japan is the best, especially if you're a gaijin, because maybe you know this play. It's called flashing the gaijin card.
No, I don't.
You know, if you're driving, for example, and they see that they'll be looking in the window, but they will pull the car away from you. It's just sort of, he's a gaijin, he might not know exactly what's going on. They let him drive?
Well, that's another thing that I found so strange. Like, I mean, I've lived in Vancouver and Toronto, New York, and I always found in North America, you sort of never know what the other driver's going to do. Whereas here, it's like everybody's on the same wavelength.
That's with everything.
Yeah,
they're on the same page.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've seen 2 incidences of road rage in 18 years of driving here, and both times it was me.
So how do you get around now? First of all, where are you living?
Up here in Nishinomiya, in Kurakuen, on the beautiful Shukugawa.
Ah, yes.
We're at Niteiko-ike, right across right across from Matsushita of Panasonic frames. And I was telling Velma-san that all year that property looks like a huge ikebana. It's just brilliant. Because the gardeners here.
I think
right?
I know this place. This is with this like reservoir lakes.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
I know exactly.
You know what every millionaire wants?
Yeah.
A Japanese gardener.
Yeah. Yeah, they're expensive. So did you move when you came from Canada? Did you move right to this neighborhood or Tokyo?
We moved straight
first?
in. It was Haruko's old stomping ground
Nice.
since they were babies.
Wow. So when do you plan to go back to Canada?
No. They're taking me out of here in a box.
And are your kids going to international schools or Japanese schools?
I love the Japanese school system here because kids' brains are this way until this age, and then they change. For 11, 12 years old, they change into a more adult brain. But from the 1 to 12, especially in the shogako or the elementary school, that formula of routine is good for young brains. They know what's going on.
And how do your kids get along with Japanese students? I mean, are your kids obviously Western, or how do they look?
Oh, they look Western. Somebody said, "Yeah, strong genes there, Phelps," and it's true if you look at the swimmer. But I tell you the story about a airline in Georgia, and a lady looks at the baby and looks at me and goes, "Oh, she your baby," without even being asked.
Oh, yeah. Same with our kids. My kids look Western, not like my wife at all. Anyway, we've already run out of time this month, but we're going to pick this up and we'll do the second half of this interview for next month. So
thanks for having me.
Well, you're going to come back.
All right.
Bosai Joho desu.
In recent years, usually during the summer months, we've been experiencing more Senjo ko-sui-tai, or linear rain bands.
We heard this term quite often on TV last month when the Kyushu, Akita, and Tohoku regions were hit by torrential rains.
Linear rain bands refer to the multiple rain clouds that form into lines and pass over the same area for many hours. There is no standard definition, but generally, it's cumulonimbus clouds that are responsible for these long, heavy rains.
So, if you hear the term Senjo ko-sui-tai during a weather report, it means there's a good chance of heavy rainstorms lasting for many hours.
Even if an evacuation order is not declared in your area, you should be extra cautious when going near steep slopes or bodies of water like streams and rivers.
Always be prepared for rainstorms beforehand by confirming the routes to your nearest evacuation centers.
For applications and any other inquiries, contact NIA at 0798 328680 or send an email to nia@nishi.or.jp. That's NISHI. Our English-speaking staff will be happy to help.
Please continue to be careful and stay safe.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会でした。
Have a great weekend, everyone.